Hello. So I wanted to do kind of a reverse project on a bike that I built a couple years or so ago, and it's been an ongoing project for several years, but it's going to be kind of a reversal project in that obviously the bike's already done, but I'm going to kind of go through some pictures and show you exactly what all we did to build this bike here. Okay, so this bike is it's basically a bike that was wrecked, and I essentially cut off the bad parts and made it into a usable fixed gear kind of winter fun training bike. Essentially is, I guess, the gist of this whole bike here. The frame was like a 60 centimeter frame that had some front end damage there, and was the top and down tubes were crumpled in, and so what I did was just chopped it down, and then took a section of the seat tube here. You can see right here is where it was cut and then basically welded back together. And then I put on some surly dropouts there. This is the bike frame here in its original state when I first got it. It was actually, I rescued it from the dumpster. The customer had brought it in to have it repaired. But there's the front end damage. Looked like it had ran head on into something. You can kind of see from here that the forks are bent back in. But anyway, this is I got a piece of chromoly 1 1/8" steer head tube and some surly dropouts. Then chopped off the original dropouts, cut a 1-inch section out of the seat tube and cut the head tube off. And here's a little closer up version of the seat tube there, where I channeled out a little over 1 inch basically. Basically just clamped a couple pieces of angle iron on each side and to get it straight, and welded it together. This is the section that I removed from the seat tube, and then this is the actual head tube that was cut off the original frame there. Nothing real fancy, just as close as I could cut it with a hacksaw. It's a standard 1-inch old school head tube there. So this is my 1 1/8" head tube there, and I've got the tubes mitered. Just you can see the tape or the paper over it, and it's just little templates I got off the internet to give you a little guide to cut them. So I cut them, dremeled them out, welded it up, and then here's the finished project of the head tube welded on, and then kind of mocked up the dropouts to the rear end, and noticed that the brake posts there were going to have to be relocated, so that was another whole issue. So this is the jig that I used to put basically weld the dropouts there to the frame, kind of square everything up. Essentially the bottom bracket shell, welded this piece on, so we got a nice square 90-degree there. So the bottom bracket shell, I clamped it up against here, and then this is just just clamped on. I've got just an old axle, and the dropouts are centered up in there, so this is all adjustable. I'm going to use this some more, but that's kind of one reason why I made the welding table, is to make some little more easier way to do this. But I may use this again in the future as far as to put dropouts on, but it's just a piece of square tubing that was on an old industrial exercise bike, but worked well for this purpose. So yeah, that's how I got the dropouts straight. Yeah, I was pretty pleased how the dropouts mounted up with the little tool there. Came out pretty straight. I took the bike to a shop down the street that had a Italian thread chaser tool and chase the bottom bracket threads and then face the head tube there. You know, after that I basically just rattle can painted up the bike, and you know, came out pretty good. I was pleased overall with everything and how straight it came out. The gearing, I've got I believe it's a 22 in the rear and a 52 in the front, so both pretty big rings there, but came out well. That's the bottom plate that, you know, I had to reload. There was a, you know, a bar initially in there, but it was just too close to hit the wheel, so I had to relocate that, and then the brake bridge there. So this is actually a piece of an old Schwinn mountain bike that's chromoly piece there, and just kind of fabricated a new hole for the recessed nut on the brake and everything. But yeah, you know, as far as bike construction, you know, I'm kind of from the, you know, 70s, 80s BMX stuff is what I grew up with, so I always just really, you know, appreciated the look of a TIG welded frame. So, you know, for all you lugged frame fans there, that's, you know, they're cool and all, but that's just, I prefer the look of the TIG welded frame, which this one still has a few lugs here and there, but anyway, the overall size of the bike is it's a 56 centimeter thereabouts. I've got some Mavic GP4 tubular rims with some Continental Sprinter tires, and yeah, you won't believe how smooth this bike actually rides. And yeah, it's a dream to ride. Took a little footage here, you know, riding the bike, and yeah, it's pretty awesome. Pleased with it. Got a couple other projects that are going to be complete frame builds that I'm working on, like a gravel bike and then a chromoly 29er. But stay tuned for those, and thanks for watching.